Now had the morn espied her lover's steeds, whereat she starts, puts on her purple weeds, and, red for anger that he stayed so long, all headlong throws herself the clouds among. And now Leander, fearing to be missed, embraced her suddenly, took leave, and kissed. Long was he taking leave, and loath to go, and kissed again, as lovers used to do. Sad Hero wrung him by the hand and wept, saying, "Let your vows and promises be kept." Then, standing at the door, she turned about, as loath to see Leander going out. And now the sun that through the horizon peeps, and pitying these lovers, downward creeps, so that in silence of the cloudy night, though it was morning, did he take his flight. But what the secret trusty knight concealed, Leander's amorous habit soon revealed. With Cupid's myrtle was his honest bonnet crowned, about his arms the purple ribbon wound, wherewith she wreathed her largely spreading hair, nor could the youth abstain that he must wear the sacred ring wherewith she was endowed, when first religious chastity she vowed, which made his love through Cestus to be known, and thence unto Abydos sooner blown, than he could sail for incorporeal fame, whose weight consists in nothing but her name, is swifter than the wind, whose tardy plumes are reeking water and dully earth fumes. Home when he came, he seemed not to be there, but like exiled air thrust from his spear, set in a foreign place, and straight from thence, Alcides like, by mighty violence, he would have chased away the swelling main that him from her unjustly did detain, like as the sun in the diameter fires and inflames objects removed far, and heateth kindly, shining laterally, so beauty sweetly quickens when 'tis nigh, but being separated and removed, burns where it cherished, murders where it loved. Therefore, even as an index to a book, so to his mind was young Leander's look. None but gods have power their love to hide. None but gods have power their love to hide. Affection by the countenance is descried. The light of hidden fire itself discovers, and love that is concealed betrays poor lovers. His secret flame apparently was seen. Leander's father knew where he had been, and for the same mildly rebuked his son, thinking to quench the sparks new begun. But love, resisted once, grows passionate, and nothing more than counsel lovers hate. For as a hot, proud horse highly disdains to have his head controlled, but breaks the reins, spits forth the ringled bit, and with his hoofs checks the submissive ground, so he that loves, the more he is restrained, the worse he fares. What is it now but mad Leander dares? "O hero, hero!" thus he cried full oft, and then he got him to rock aloft, where, having spied her tower, long stared he on it, and prayed the narrow toiling Hellespont to part in twain, that he might come and go. But still the rising billows answer no. With that he stripped him to the ivory skin, and crying, "Love, I come!" leapt lively in, whereat the sapphire visaged god grew proud, and made his capering Triton sound aloud, imagining that Ganymede, displeased, had left the heavens. Therefore on him seized, Leander strived, the waves about him wound, and pulled him to the bottom, where the ground was strewed with pearl, and in low coral groves sweetly singing mermaids sported their loves on heaps of heavy gold, and took great pleasure to spurn in careless sort the shipwrecked treasure. For here the stately azure place stood, where kingly Neptune and his train abode. The lusty god embraced him, called him love, and swore he should never return to Jove. But when he knew it was not Ganymede, for under water he was almost dead, he heaved him up, and looking on his face, beat down the bold waves with his triple mace, which mounted up, intending to have kissed him, and fell in drops like tears, because they missed him. Leander, being up, began to swim, and looking back saw Neptune follow him. Where aghast the poor soul 'gan to cry, "Oh, let me visit Hero ere I die!" The god put Hela's bracelet on his arm, and swore the sea should never do him harm. He clapped his plump cheeks with his tresses played, and smiling wantonly his love bewrayed. He watched his arms as they opened wide, and every stroke betwixt them he would slide, and steal a kiss, and then run out and dance, and, as he turned, cast many a lustful glance, and throw him gaudy toys to please his eye, and dive into the water, and there pry upon his breast, his thighs, and every limb, and up again, and close besides him swim, and talk of love. Leander made reply, "You are deceived, I am no woman, I." Thereat smiled Neptune, and then told a tale, how that a shepherd, sitting in a vale, played with a boy so lovely, fair, and kind. As for his love both earth and heaven pined, that of the cooler river durst not drink, lest water nymphs should pull him from the brink. And when he sported in the fragrant lawns, goat-footed satyrs and upstaring fawns would steal him thence. Ere half this tale was done, "Ay me!" Leander cried, "the enamoured sun that now should shine on Thetis' glassy bower, descend upon my radiant hero's tower. Oh, that these tardy arms of mine were wings!" And as he spake, upon the waves he springs. Neptune was angry, he gave no ear, and in his heart revenging malice bare. He flung at him his mace, but as it went he called it in, for love made him repent. The mace returning back his own hand hit, as meaning to be venged for darting it. And when this fresh bleeding wound Leander viewed, his colour went and came as if he rued. The grief which Neptune felt in gentle breasts, relenting thoughts, remorse, and pity rests. And who have hard hearts and obdurate minds, but vicious harebrain and illiterate hinds. The god, seeing him with pity to be moved, thereon concluded that he was beloved. Love is too full of faith, too credulous, with folly and false hope deluding us. Wherefore Leander's fancy to surprise, to the rich ocean for gifts he flies. 'Tis wisdom to give much. Gifts prevail when deep persuading oratory fails. By this Leander, being near the land, cast down his weary feet and felt the sand. Breathless albeit he were, he rested not, till the solitary tower he got, and knocked and called, at which the celestial noise the longing heart of Hero much more joys than nymphs and shepherds when timbrel rings, or crooked dolphin when the sailor sings. She stayed not long for her robes, but straight arose, and drunk with gladness to the door she goes, where, seeing a naked man, she screeched for fear. Such sights as this to tender maids are rare, and ran into the dark herself to hide. Rich jewels in the dark are soonest spied. Unto her he was led, or rather drawn, by those white limbs which sparkled through the lawn. The nearer that he came, the more she fled, and seeking refuge slipped into her bed, whereon Leander, sitting, thus began, through numbing cold, all feeble, faint, and wan.